What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today we're going to be going ahead and doing episode 3 of my One Piece Treasure Cruise beginner series. So with episode 1, it was very basic stuff. Episode 2, we went through the generic stuff that you guys need to know about team building. Now in episode 3, I want to basically apply all of the knowledge that we went through in episode 2, but in a real-time application here in episode 3. So what I want to do is locate a piece of content, just basically build a team from there, and we're going to be using external resources as well as some of the game resources in order to build our team effectively. And then we're going to be going ahead and taking on that content and hoping that we get through, just to show you guys the process of how to build a team, or selecting the content, building the team for the content, and then actually beating it, right? So let's go ahead over to the events. And okay, so there's no clashes out today, which actually kind of sucks. It would have been a lot better to do that. I don't want to like select a really hard piece of content, but I don't want it to be too easy either. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching the video today, who are, you know, wanting beginner related things, we're not really want to be challenging super difficult stuff anyway, because you won't be able to beat it in the first place. So let's go over to the Colosseum. I don't want to challenge the middle difficulty Colosseum. Let's go ahead and have a look and see if there's any like Colosseum that is not too hard but isn't like too easy either. I think probably NL. All right, let's choose Colosseum NL. Let that be the selection that we're going to try and go for in this video today. Let's see if we can build a team utilizing some characters from start to finish on beating Colosseum NL. Okay, so the first resource that I have open here is GameWith. GameWith is a Japanese website that has a lot of articles about a lot of pieces of content. I'll leave a link down below in the video description to GameWith website. Thing to note though is that it's all in Japanese, so if you do want to actually read the information, you will have to have a plugin in your browser or some sort of way to translate the information on the page, but it's a very useful resource as you can find just about any piece of content here. So we found Colosseum NL under the Colosseums tab, which is the one that's available on global right now, and the Chaos difficulty Colosseum is the highest difficulty, so that's the one that we're going to go ahead and have a look at, right? So obviously this is all the information about Colosseum NL, but one thing that we have to just automatically decide straight off the bat is what captain are we going to use. So I think I'm probably going to go with the same structure as the previous video in utilizing Gold Roger as our captain. Now, if you guys don't know what this website is, this is the One Piece Treasure Cruise damage calculator, or the database damage calculator. A link to this will be down below in the video description as well. A very valuable resource to help you build your teams and see your damage output against different colors. It's very useful to have. And then obviously we've got the One Piece Treasure Cruise database, which is a great resource for locating all of the characters that you need. And then you can build a team off here, and you can see how much damage you're doing. All of these will be linked down below in the video description, but I'll show you guys from start to finish how I would go about building a team using Goldie Roger as the captain against Colosseum NL. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of a read up on what Colosseum NL has. Now on GameWith there is some team compositions you can look up and, you know, apply it on your own account, and you can beat the content with. They've got full information on how it all works, but of course we want to be building our own team. So let's go ahead and scroll down and have a look. So this is the third floor against Garnfall and Pierre. 1.9 million for Garnfall, 1.1 for Pierre. The preemptive of Garnfall, 3 turns of chain reduction. So these are all the different debuffs and gimmicks that you're going to have to you know, come up against when you are fighting against this this dungeon. So 3 turns of chain reduction, and then your captain and your middle left and your lower right characters get slot binded for 2 turns. I don't really want to take too much note of this stuff because, I mean, we ideally want to take them out as soon as possible, so I'm not even going to worry about the rest of the stuff. And then Pierre, because remember, there's 2 enemies here. So Pierre's preemptive attack is delay immunity, so you cannot delay them, and 3 or less turns of despair. Despair doesn't matter anyway, because when we're using Gold Roger, his captain effect automatically resists any despair that gets inflicted to us, so we don't have to worry about that at all. So the only real thing that is going to be a problem here is the chain reduction. So okay, we got to keep that at the back of our minds. So let's scroll past this stage. We have stage 4 against the Shandian Warriors and Wiper. So Wiper has 1.85 million and the Warriors have 100,000 HP, so they're pretty weak. And the preemptive attack is the captain gets 4 turns of special rewind. Okay, that's annoying. Okay, 98 turns of target lock on Wiper. Okay, that is also annoying. Delay immunity, so you cannot delay the enemies, okay? And also, this is resilience. So resilience is an effect where the enemy will always survive on 1 HP for a certain amount of time. So for 2 turns, he'll always survive on 1 HP. However, they cannot die from normal attacks. The only way that they will die is if you do a damaging special, or you have them poisoned, or an end of turn damage buff. If you do that, then yes, you can still kill them, but you cannot like break through their resilience with normal attacks. That's the really annoying thing there. So I already have a couple of ideas in my head, because look, they are delay disabled, so you can still poison them. That's really good to know. Or you can use end of turn damage. There's already a couple characters I can think about who I would want to use. And then if he does survive after the first turn, he gives you block orbs. Disturb is block orbs. Obviously, the translations from the Google Translate is a little bit weird, but full board of block orbs and 2 turns of damage reduction, and below 20%, he blinds you for 9 turns and gives you around 20,000 damage. So that obviously sucks. And then the final boss against NL on stage 5 has 7 million HP, and he will increase the chances of badly matching slots appearing. He makes meat and tandem slots non-beneficial for 98 turns, shuffles your orbs around, gives you paralysis for 2 turns, and end of turn healing. And if you have, yeah, he does have the special interrupt. So if you use any sort of debuff on NL, he blows away 2 of your characters, I think that's what it is. And if you don't kill him after turn 1, he gives himself a slot barrier. So that's really annoying. He does a lot of really annoying things, but his preemptive isn't that bad. As long as you got a way to get matching slots and remove the paralysis, that's basically all you need. So yeah, I think this was probably a really good choice, because it's like not too difficult to get around. I think if you're a newer player, yeah, this is going to be a little tricky. Having the applicable characters to get around all the gimmicks here. But obviously when you've been playing for a long time, this is not going to be too difficult to get around. So let's start thinking about this. Okay, the first thing that I think is, the thing that really shocked me was this. 4 turns of special reverse to your captain. That doesn't look like fun. So we need a character on here that's going to resist special reverse. Or not really resist special reverse, but we need a character that can reduce our cooldown so we can make sure Roger's special is ready. So we need a special ability that has the ability to reduce the cooldowns. And ideally, what would be really good is if it's like like a double special activation. That would be really good. So we can filter a limit break ability to double special activation. Okay, so we've got a couple options here. Perospero, Foxfire Kinemon. Okiku is actually pretty cool though. Kinemon is actually not bad either, because he can generate some slots for us, but technically speaking, we can get matching slots anyway with Roger's super type special. The super type special, by the way, we do need to fulfill in some fashion. What does Okiku do again? Okiku is bind and paralysis by 2, special cooldown. Okay, well actually that's pretty cool, because this 2 turns of paralysis, Okiku gets rid of 2 turns of paralysis. So we could technically use like 1 Okiku on stage 4, and then on the final boss stage we could use the second Okiku because of double special activation. And not all characters have double special activation, by the way, only a very small amount of them do. But that's really cool, because it means that with the preemptive attack moving into the next stage, this could work actually. This could actually work. I do like this actually. I think Okiku is going to be a shoo-in for this team, just to ensure that Okiku is ready for the final boss fight. That makes a lot of sense, okay? So what else do we need? We also, look, in terms of getting matching slots, it's not going to be too terrible, because we can just use Roger's super type special. So we do need a character to give us the super type special. So we could use like Shank's crew, for example. We could use the new Rayleigh. We could use V2 Rayleigh. V2 Rayleigh would be pretty cool. But, how can we do this? Also, I have noticed as well is that, like, because we can't use Roger on stage 4, it's going to mean that these surrounding mob characters are going to be a little bit of an annoyance. So what I am thinking is some sort of AoE damage dealer. I guess the new Rayleigh kind of fits the best, right? Because the new Rayleigh, when you use his special, he does 200,000 fixed damage to all enemies, and then he does the utility effect, and he's a color affinity booster. So we could just like chuck him on the team, and he enables us to use the super type special, but he also means that when we use him on stage 4, he wave clears the mobs, and then actually, and one of the characters that I really wanted to bring was this, Smoothie and Oven. If you're a new player, this is going to be a character that's going to be a little bit difficult to get, because you can only get them from the treasure map exchange. But this character is great because every time you switch between Smoothie and Oven, they do end of turn damage, which, as we mentioned before, end of turn damage actually will get past the resilience buff. So we could definitely do that. That would be great. Now he does have 1.85 million in terms of overall damage. Are we going to have enough damage without having to launch a special? We could technically use the Smoothie and Oven special on that stage. That's actually not that bad of an idea. Even though it would be nice to have them for the final stage, I don't think it's really that important to use them on the final stage, because Roger with his 3 times attack boost is probably going to be more than enough. Because of that, actually, we could probably use a Roger special on stage 3 where Pierre and Garnfor are, and then we could probably use the other one on stage 5 because of the special reverse on stage 4. That would also make sense. What else happens again? Okay, so we've got this stage. We can use Rayleigh, we can use the one Okiku, we could use a Rayleigh special, we could use Smoothie and Oven special technically. And then against this stage, we're having Chain Reduction. Okay, so if we had a unit that could... maybe Chain Lock. What if we just use Shanks Crew? I mean, Shanks Crew's kind of a cop-out because it's like it's another legend, but I mean, like, they are pretty good, right? They are pretty good. Or we could just use a Chain Locker, right? So let's have a look, okay? Let's filter by special ability. That is a Chain Locker. And ideally, a multi-turn Chain Locker would be great. Because, I mean, Shanks Crew is a multi-turn Chain Locker. The support effect of Zoro could work, actually. Because Zoro has a really cool support effect. This is getting a bit advanced in terms of, you know, utilizing characters. But he gives you a 2-turn Chain Lock, which is pretty cool. Even though 3 turns, like, is perfect here. It would be nice to use a 3-turn Chain Locker, but... we could technically use Treble and Dofi as well. Treble and Dofi is actually a pretty awesome call. I don't mind that at all, to be honest. What does this guy do again? I can't remember. If your captain is Krieg or Sai, it's a 3 times Chain Lock. I wish it was the other one. That would have been a lot better. I would have definitely used him. I don't think there are too many other good Chain Lockers. I mean, we could use Neo Boa, I suppose. Neo Boa's okay. 2.5 Chain Lock for 3 turns and delays. Okay, we could do that. We could do that. Use Neo Boa Hancock and then use her on stage 3. That will enable us to get through that stage a lot quicker. It's just a matter of matching slots, right? Because when we reach the stage 4, we are probably going to use a super tight special there. It was like, with just normal damage, are we going to have enough there? Yeah, we probably will, right? Because if we use Roger on this stage, it's going to pretty much wave clear nearly these characters, right? So honestly, we probably don't even need to bring a character to get rid of the chain. I'm probably overthinking things a lot. But obviously, these are things you have to do, right? And this is just one piece of content that I'm building a team for. And this goes to show that, you know, team building is pretty advanced in Treasure Cruise. So, with all that being said, I don't think it's the most impressive team in the game. But again, look, I just wanted to build a quick team without using too many SugoFest exclusives or anything that will be able to take on Coliseum NL. And just showing you how you can use these resources. Like, the database is such a valuable resource for filtering characters out for certain things that you need. And obviously you can use GameWith to locate the gimmicks and then understand them, locate the characters here, and then put them in the team effectively. And then we can go ahead and inject them into our game and see how we go against the content. So let's go ahead and switch over to the game now with this team, and hopefully we can take on Coliseum NL. Okay, so we have the team fully injected in our game now, but we are not going to put supports on. There's actually no need to put supports unless if you just want to get the additional stats. But in terms of overall utility, there's no supports that are going to help you clear the content easier for this particular team. Depending on your team composition, obviously you can change things around. We are just going to be using the Merry-Go ship just for simplicity. And I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Coliseum and see how we go. Alright, so we're currently in the Coliseum now versus Eneru. Now, one thing that is quite standard that you will have to do is to do effective stalling. So what I mean by that is to ensure that your specials are ready by the time you reach, like, stage 3. We're going to need, like, our specials to be ready to go when we need them. So that is going to be very important to take your time in the content, especially if it's new content that you've never taken on before. It's very important that you take your time to understand what the bosses are doing and to ensure that, you know, your specials are ready when you reach those very key stages, just in case if you need to use a special where you didn't think you would need to. It's always very valuable to ensure that your specials are ready to go. So in this situation here, you can see that we are using the Merry-Go ship. Now, if you are going to be using Goldie Roger, typically this is not the ship you would normally use with him. Normally speaking, you would probably be using like the Megalo ship. You could use the Liberal Hind ship. There's a lot of other ships that you could use aside from this, but obviously if you are just getting into the game, you aren't going to have, you know, the array of ships that a more advanced or veteran player are going to have. So the Merry-Go ship is definitely like the best beginner ship that you can have, unless if you conserve some rainbow gems to unlock them from the unlockable quest. And I did talk about it very briefly in my episode 2 video for the beginner series. We went through, you know, different ships and how to get them, like the training forest or the unlockable quest. It really just does depend on like how many gems you have and where you're going to invest them. So you can see at this point most of our specials are actually ready to go. So we can actually just kind of just move on to the next stage here. We don't even have to worry and ensure we get a pretty good amount of damage in so that, you know, Goldie Roger reaches that 3 million threshold. So no problems at all whatsoever there. Already 2.5 million just from that stage. Okay, so stage 3, this is where Pierre and Garnfall were. So remember, we get inflicted with 3 turns of chain down, and we get inflicted with the slot bind, we get inflicted with the despair, of course. They have delay immunity. So all of this is exactly as reported on GameWith. So what we're going to do here is we can go ahead and launch the Boa Hancock special, which is going to give us that chain lock for 3 turns. And then we are also going to go ahead and launch one of the Goldie Roger specials, which is obviously going to do a lot of damage, but that is also going to go ahead and give us I think it's the 3 times attack boost. I'm pretty sure it would have been by this point. So let's go ahead and move on. No problems at all. Very simple. So now we're going to move on to stage 4, which is going to be against Wiper and all of the Shandians. Now, remember with this one, he does have the resilience buff, which is pretty annoying. He's going to reverse our captain specials, which is also very annoying. So at this point, let's go ahead and launch one of the Okikus, and we want to make sure that we save one of this Okiku for the next stage because of the paralysis reduction. So let's go ahead and launch Rayleigh. Rayleigh's going to go ahead and do that fixed damage. It gives us a color affinity boost, and the color affinity boost doesn't really make too much of a difference at this point. Now remember, he does have that resilience buff, so with normal attacks you cannot kill him. However, by using the switch effect of Smoothie and Oven, you can see that it does put a new buff on our team. The deals additional damage at the end of the turn. So once we get him down to 1 HP, when this will actually activate, and then he will instantly die. So at this point, we want to get some matching orbs as well, so we can go ahead and launch the super type special of my boy, Goldie Roger, which of course is going to give us the really enhanced color affinity for our Psy characters, but that doesn't really make a difference because the Psy characters are not having type advantage in this fight. So now, all we need to do is just attack. There's really not much else to really do at this point. We still have the 2.5 chainlock from Boa Hancock, which is great. And then the end of turn damage is going to come through and take him out. There you go. Easy as pie. And then we're going to move on to stage 5, which is against Eneru. So Eneru, as I think he, according to the article, it was like he makes tandem and recovery slots count as non-beneficial, and he makes them appear more often. And then he shuffles your orbs around and stuff like that. Yeah, there we go. And the paralysis, of course. So now we can go ahead and just go ahead and launch the special ability of Okiku, which removes the paralysis, of course. So from here, we could go ahead and switch to Smoothie, but we can just go ahead and launch the Smoothie and Oven special, which will give our Psy and Quick characters an orb boost. And then from there, we can go ahead and launch the super tight special of Roger to give us the full board of matching slots, of course. And then, of course, to finish it all off, the Roger special, which will go ahead and give us the 3 times attack boost. And from there, it is GG. No problems at all. GG. See you later, NL. And we did it. There we go. NL is taken down. So that just shows you from start to finish how I would go ahead and normally build a team utilizing articles from GameWith, the One Piece Treasure Cruise database, and also the One Piece Treasure Cruise database calculator. All very useful resources. And as I said at the start of the video, all linked down below in the video description. However, there are still a couple of other really useful resources that you could go ahead and use to help you throughout One Piece Treasure Cruise. So this is another website that you could potentially go ahead and have a look at, which is Nakama Network. It's a great resource where you can legit just look up a piece of content like, you know, Coliseum NL, which we just talked about. We can legit just click him and then scroll down, and these are people's teams that they have made and submitted that will go ahead and clear this content. So as long as you have the right characters, like for example, we can click this team, it tells us what supports we'll need, and not all the time, as you can see in here, but sometimes it will give you a rundown as to how to clear the content. So this, you know, is a more bare bones way of, you know, just clearing content, you know, doing it by letting someone else do it for you. Or, you know, I do think it still is quite nice to get into the game by learning the mechanics and doing it yourself. But obviously, if you are just starting out, this may be a great resource for building some teams just to get your, you know, get your hand in how this actually all works. And then finally, another resource that I could probably recommend would be the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit. This basically has a lot of news, memes, of course, always good fun. But obviously the Discord server, which is obviously linked to this as well on the right hand side there, you can go ahead and join the Discord server. There's really helpful people in there, so I would highly suggest doing that as well. But with all that being said, that is going to conclude this video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I sincerely hope that you guys learned something new in this video. And as I said, everything that we talked about will be linked down below in the video description, so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure you hit subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.